Mr. Robinson?
Yes. I didn't have time to
You have to give us your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Mark Robinson. I live at... That's right here in Greensboro. I've lived in Greensboro all my life. I didn't have time to write a fancy speech. I didn't have time to, I didn't have the resource of an English teacher to sit down and write a speech with at school today and be, brought over here or practice or anything. What I really came down here for is this. I've heard a whole lot of people in here talking tonight about this group and that group and domestic violence and blacks, these minorities and that minority. What I want to know is, when are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right, constitutional right that's spelled out in black and white. You want to restrict my right to buy a firearm and protect myself from some of the very people you're talking about in here tonight. It's ridiculous. I don't think Rod Serling could come up with a better script. It does not make any sense. The law-abiding citizens of this community and many communities around this country, we're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered and the first ones punished when things like this happens, because our rights are the ones that are being taken away. That's the reason why I came down here today. Gun show or no gun show, NRA or no NRA. I'm here to stand up for the law-abiding citizens of this community, because I'm going to tell you that what's going to happen. You can take the guns away from us all you want to. You all write a law, I follow the law, I'll bring my guns down here, I'll turn them in. But here's what's going to happen. The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them. And what's going to happen when you have to send the police down there to go take them? The police can barely enforce the law as it is. As what I see, we demonize the police, criminalize and vilify the police, and we make the criminals into victims. And we're talking about restricting guns? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when the police department's already hamstrung? You're not going to be able to go down here and take these guns from these criminals. So the criminals are going to hold on to their guns. They're still going to have them. They're still going to break in my house, and they're still going to shoot me with them. And guess who's going to be the one that suffers? It's going to be me. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, it is not going to happen without a fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean shots fired. I don't mean fist thrown. I mean I'm going to come down here to this city council and raise hell just like these loonies from the left do until you listen to the majority of the people in this city. And I am the majority. The majority of the people in this city are law-abiding, and they follow the law, and they want their constitutional right to be able to bear arms. They want to be able to go to the gun show and buy a hunting rifle or a sport rifle. There are no military-grade weapons sold at the gun show. An AR-15 is not a military-grade weapon. Anybody that would go into combat with an AR-15 is a fool. It's a semi-automatic .22 rifle. You'd be killed in 15 minutes in combat with that thing. So we need to dispel all these myths, and we need to drop all this division that we got going on here. Because the bottom line is, when that Second Amendment was written, whether the framers liked it or not, they wrote it for everybody. And I am everybody. And the law-abiding citizens of this city are everybody. And we want our rights, and we want to keep our rights. And by God, we're going to keep them, come hell or high water.
What makes this speech so powerful is that Mark Robinson didn't walk into that room sounding like a polished politician. He wasn't reading from a teleprompter. He wasn't delivering talking points crafted by consultants. He spoke as an ordinary citizen who was fed up with being blamed for the actions of criminals, and that's exactly why this speech resonated with so many Americans. For years, every time a horrific shooting takes place, the conversation seems to follow the same script. The criminal commits the crime, but somehow the focus quickly shifts to restricting the rights of millions of law-abiding gun owners who had absolutely nothing to do with it. Robinson challenged that logic head-on. His argument was simple. If someone commits murder, blame the murderer. If a gang member terrorizes a neighborhood, blame the gang member. If a criminal breaks the law, punish the criminal. Don't punish citizens who follow the law every single day. That's the frustration many gun owners have felt for decades. Robinson also raised a question that gun control advocates often struggle to answer. If new restrictions are passed, who exactly is going to follow them? Law-abiding citizens will. The people who already obey the law will comply with the new law too. But what about the criminals, the gang members, the drug traffickers, the repeat offenders, the people already carrying illegal weapons? Do we really believe they're suddenly going to become obedient citizens because another regulation was added to the books? That's the point Robinson was making. Criminals ignore laws by definition. That's what makes them criminals. He also highlighted another issue that's become increasingly controversial in recent years: the treatment of law enforcement. While politicians talk about adding more regulations, many of those same politicians have spent years attacking police departments, reducing morale, and making recruitment more difficult. If police departments are already stretched thin, Robinson asked, how exactly are they supposed to enforce even more gun restrictions against hardened criminals? It's a fair question. The reality is that many Americans don't live in gated communities protected by private security. They don't have bodyguards. They don't have armed escorts. When danger comes knocking, they're often the first responder for themselves and their families. That's why the Second Amendment debate isn't just about politics for many people. It's about personal safety. It's about the single mother who wants a firearm for protection. It's about the small business owner worried about rising crime. It's about the family living in a neighborhood where police response times can take several minutes when seconds matter. Robinson's speech tapped directly into those concerns. He also pushed back against what he viewed as misinformation surrounding firearms, particularly the constant portrayal of common civilian rifles as battlefield weapons. Whether people agree with him or not, his broader point was that emotional rhetoric often replaces factual discussion whenever gun policy is debated, and that's something Americans see all the time. Instead of serious conversations about crime, gang violence, repeat offenders, mental health failures, and broken prosecution systems, the debate frequently centers on restricting people who haven't harmed anyone. That's why Robinson's message struck a nerve. He wasn't speaking as a lobbyist. He wasn't speaking as a politician. He was speaking as a citizen who felt ignored. When he said, "I am the majority," he wasn't talking about demographics. He was talking about the millions of Americans who go to work, pay taxes, obey the law, raise families, and simply want their constitutional rights respected. Whether critics liked his tone or not, his message was crystal clear. Stop treating law-abiding citizens like suspects while criminals continue to wreak havoc. That's the argument that made this speech go viral years ago, and it's the reason people are still talking about it today. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Should lawmakers focus more on targeting criminals instead of placing new restrictions on law-abiding gun owners?